So a good place to start getting a very solid education about social impact investing from the top people in the country is here on this website, the Global Impact Investing Network, or the GIN.org. They have fantastic programs, and they're definitely a place that you can rely on to learn solid information. You want to be defining a strategy for the corporate side, all the businesses, the family office side, the personal investing, and the philanthropy, and ideally those three strategies to come together. And in our next module, we'll talk about family branding and creating the social impact strategy that's going to work in these three aspects is a way that you will affect your personal family brand. How deep do you want to go with social impact? Some people go extremely detailed and deep, and some are on more of a larger, more strategic level with this. It's up to you. You can go as deep as insisting that every single piece of paper get recycled in your offices, or you can be really much more focused on the types of programming and, for example, benefits and leave programs you have for your employees. So there's different ways that people express this social impact urge in the family, but it needs to be addressed and it needs to be agreed upon by the younger family members. They're the ones who are going to be leading the family in the future. You may have to change on an incremental basis because some of the older family members may be quite resistant to this and feel like it's a waste of time and money. So you want to start with some programs that are winners, that they see the value of, and then slowly bring them on board. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and so although younger family members might be very urgently wanting to change how the family operates, let's get some wins in there, things that grandpa or dad can approve of, and then we move forward from there. So how do we actually implement this social impact strategies in the single family office? The first thing you want to do is actually create a chief impact officer for the family. Sometimes this is a family member who's passionate about social impact. It might be one of the senior generation members, or it might be somebody in their 20s. But ideally, you want to create a chief impact officer, someone who's empowered and becomes the ambassador for these programs with the family. Ideally, somebody the family respects and they're going to listen to. Then you may want to create one of your family committees to be an impact committee and invite other family members to come in and give their opinions about these matters. Now, if you have a family that's far flung around the world, you can get their opinions by a very free software called SurveyMonkey, and you can survey them online and find out what their views are, or have the Chief Impact Officer call everybody and do informational interviews to find out their areas of passion and focus. You might also want to create a social impact incubator in your community. I know a lot of families are doing that. So they're taking a small amount of money and actually working in their local community to fund worthy entrepreneurs to start social impact businesses where they live. This is very satisfying because you're creating jobs in your local economy that benefits you and your family where you do business, and also you have some real wins to show for a relatively small investment. You might also want to look at adding the social impact investments to the personal portfolios of the family. This goes to many families have businesses that they own, and then they have personal financial portfolios that may be full of liquid investments or private equity or venture capital funds or real estate funds. We can add social impact investments to all of those categories. And in fact, recently I've seen the social impact portfolios outperform the so-called conventional portfolios, which is interesting. There's a lot of data now being collected by important groups like MSCI, who track all sorts of indices, showing that over long terms, companies that are publicly traded that have great social impact ratings also perform well in the market, and so the portfolios that are full of these kinds of stocks and bonds are doing better. You also need to understand that one of the things about social impact is actually measuring what the impact is. So for any project that the family decides to invest in, you also want to design a measurement system. You're measuring the financial returns traditionally, but you also want to be measuring the social impact. So for example, if you build a green building, how much have you reduced the carbon footprint of the building? Are you using solar, so you're no longer using a lot of energy? Have you put smart devices in the rooms so that you're actually measuring the temperature and the various aspects of the running of the building so you can reduce your overall power usage? Have you put grass on the roof, which creates positive effects in the atmosphere? So there's lots of different ways you can measure social impact. Each type of measurement is very specific to the project, and there are consultants out there who will help you design the social impact measurement systems that you need to measure what you're doing.